Arrow.
I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to call you. This is Bill, right?
No, it's Mike.
Oh,
with
Mike.
Paul Scheer.
Oh, man. It says iHeartRadio on it. I usually get a picture of you, Mike.
Yeah, I turned off the. There's no video in the studio. So.
Okay.
Hey, go ahead.
Even though
you'll have till 50. Go ahead.
There's about 6 video cameras in here, but we cannot get
None of them
video.
work.
And isn't that what your book is all about? All the traumas that we all go through, and you turn it into something positive?
I mean, that's it, right? Trauma is the fire in which we are forged, so yeah, we'll just make do.
Hey, I got to congratulate you on this book because I love it when people who are artists or they're just actors or they're producers turn their energy into creativity. And writing a book is a miracle. It's like a movie. It takes a miracle to write a book.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. When you work as an actor or writer, you have these stages that you can create in, so oftentimes it's the idea and you write the script. And then once you start to cast the script, it changes. People bring different life to it, and then you shoot it, and it changes again because maybe you don't get a location that you want, or you see something differently, and then you start to edit it. It becomes something completely different once again. Like you get 3 or 4 chances to make a project, but with a book, you got one shot. You write it and you edit it, and then it's released. So it's a lot more stressful. When I've written comic books in the past, you feel that pressure. It's like, oh, I don't have a chance to see what the reaction is to this, to get it up on its feet, and so it's daunting, and you're in a vacuum. So it's been great that the book is out now, Joyful Recollections of Trauma, and because I'm able to see people's reactions to it, and it's been incredibly overwhelming.
So when you put a book together, I know that as a writer, I become a character as well, and that's the writing personality. Did you do the same thing?
Oh, absolutely. To me, I love a book that makes me feel like I'm in conversation with the author, especially in a memoir or a biography, because I'm telling you a story. And I tried very hard to make it feel like you're sitting across from me and we're just talking. And now you're not going to be talking that much. It's just going to be me. But that's the tone I'm trying to achieve. And I think that goes down a lot easier. For me, it's what I like.
You being a podcaster, how did that play out with the book? Because, in podcasting, we get to hear your pitch, volume, and tone. On the paper, it's just a bunch of paragraphs.
I know. Well, you got to try to use spacing effectively. And I tried to write things and use italics and try to grab certain ways that I like to speak. Now, the benefit is I got to record my own audiobook. Yes. So that way I could deliver these passages in the way that I wanted to make sure they were heard. And then I was able to add in like sound clips from How Did This Get Made, and also even clips from my own childhood videos.
So how did you stay so true to it when it comes to recording the book? Because I'm that guy that likes to get off the track and go my own direction and explain things.
Well, you know what? I think that what I really wanted to do was make sure I had room to do that, right? The book was our written, the map. And if I felt like I wanted to kind of punctuate something, I would. As a matter of fact, I recorded some pieces live in front of a studio audience and made changes based on that and kind of read their reactions to things as well. So for me, I think you want to be open to it. I just read, or I should say I listened to Barbra Streisand's biography, which is 40 hours. And she certainly goes off book a lot.
But you know what, though, to me, that's the way that the new age of art is going to grow. It's being inspired by these books that you guys are putting your own inflection into. Because, we don't get to see you face to face. Sure, we can watch videos on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. But when we hear your voice and your story, now we have the seed.
I totally agree with you. I think that radio, I think that podcasting is this very personal thing. We're in people's ears. Sometimes we don't even know what they look like. And that, to me, is kind of this beautiful thing. Like, you have this, I know they talk about parasocial relationships all the time, but you do have this relationship. It's closer than anything else. Even television, it's far away. It's a little bit more removed. This, you do feel like you're always in conversation. So I love that I'm able to podcast. I love that I was able to do my own book and give people 2 different ways of exploring exploring it, because they are different.
See, I love the fact that we're not seeing each other. And the reason why is because it uses my own imagination. I remember when I saw Casey Kasem for the first time on the Hardy Boys, and I thought, no, that's not what Casey Kasem looks like.
Errol, I'm the same exact way. I feel I've created an image of people in my mind, And now I know what they are. I see what they look like. And when I see them in real life, it is hard. I felt like that. I grew up listening to Howard Stern all the time. And when I saw the people from Howard Stern, besides Howard Stern, I was like, wait, that's what they look like?
Exactly. Would you say that you are a walking art gallery with all the creativity that you're a part of?
Oh my gosh, you are. You know what? I would never say that out loud because I would be embarrassed. But I think that we all are. We all have creative instincts, and some people choose to follow them. Even people who are like, "Oh, I have not a creative bone in my body," but there's something that you do that is artful. We all have those things. Now, for me, I just love to find different ways to create, and I don't want people to tell me when I can and when I can't create, because I think that we live in a business where you have to wait. Okay, I can do it only this way, and they said I can only do that. So I try to find opportunities for myself to, like this book, to do it on my own terms.
Yeah. One of the things that caught my attention about you was the fact that you want people to drop their avatars and be real people. But the problem is with me is that with my VR goggles, I love the way my wife looks in her avatar. I mean, I'm telling you, she's hot.
Look, I mean, let's keep them on then. My wife stole my Apple Vision Pro because she hid it from me. He's like, "You're not wearing that in the house," and I was like, "Oh, come on." So my wife has some solid rules. So I can't have a virtual wife. I have to enjoy my regular wife with my regular glasses.
When did you realize that your personal journey was marketable? In other words, it's something that people could relate with, and you're going, "Oh my God, I can take this someplace."
Honestly, I didn't really have an aha moment. I've been telling these anecdotes on the How Did This Get Made podcast for 14 years, but that's what they were, anecdotes. And when I sat down to write a book, I knew I had to do something a little bit different, tell a fuller story, go a little bit deeper, share stuff that I've never really shared, because it actually paints a picture way better. We're talking about painting pictures, and what I realized was, in writing this, the stuff that I respond to, the stuff that I find engaging, are the books that go to places emotionally that are resonant. They don't have to be like, I didn't have to live that same life, but I can identify with those emotions. And those are the books that last.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to just be a book where I talked about bad movies or just funny set experiences. I wanted it to be something that I think could reach more people. And it wasn't even fully intentional as much as when I started writing, that's what came out.
A lot of people don't understand what we go through as writers in the way of editing, because my first book, it had a lot of cuss words in it, so I decided, no, I got to take them all out. And the thing is that, I mean, people don't understand what we have to go through mentally in order to give it to them physically.
Well, yeah, I think at a certain point, you have to, editing is such an important tool, right? You really have to think about, what are you leaving there for? I love editing. I love editing in a video sense. I love editing in a book sense, because you are constantly going, what is the core idea? What's the core tenet? Because we can all write tons and tons of words, but what do we need to say? And sometimes you need that curse word. Sometimes you don't need all those curse words. But I'm a big believer in the vomit draft. You get it all out first, and then you go back and you start to look at it with a fine-tooth comb. But you don't do that in the creation stage.
So who's going to play you in a movie?
Look, hopefully me. I'm still acting. I got to get out there. I'll play myself.
Did you learn anything writing this book? Because I mean, writing to me is cleaning out the closet. What did you learn?
For me, this book isn't therapy as much as it's a reflection of the work and therapy that I've done on myself. I grew up in an abusive childhood. I had a stepfather who was pretty terrible, and I thought for a long time in my 20s that I had kind of conquered that, because I was over it and we had survived and we had gotten out. And what I realized was the effects of that kind of trickled into all parts of my life. And when I put the book together, to see how it all, kind of fit together like a puzzle piece. I knew all the individual pieces, but seeing it together, it really created a nice tableau, and it was fun to see the full journey out in the book.
Man, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future. You be brilliant today, okay?
I love it.
Excellent. Thank you.
I love it. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So much fun.